Hello Stampers and Crafters, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Sarah McGuire from Sassy Paper Crafts. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and today's project is this one. How adorable is this card? I'm going to show you exactly how to create this card using the Reindeer Fun Bundle from Stampin' Up! As well as a few other Stampin' Up! Products. So if you'd like to see how to create this card, please keep watching. So to start our card, we're going to first start with stamping. And like I said, we're going to be using the Reindeer Fun Bundle from Stampin' Up! This is a part of the September to December mini catalog. It includes a 13 stamp photopolymer stamp set and an 18 die set. I have a couple of missing because we're going to be using them, but I wanted to show you. Makes these super cute reindeers here. I did a tag the other day using these reindeer die. Oh, so cute. So today we're going to be using 4 of the dies from the bundle and 2 of the stamps. I'm just going to move these out of the way just so I have more room to work. We're going to be using the holly leaves, the deer, cut out the 2 deer, this really cute circle, and the holly berries. So like I said, we're going to start with our stamping. I have a piece of basic white, just scrap piece, and I already have my stamp mounted onto an E-block. I'm going to ink it up using some Memento ink because we're going to be coloring it with some Stampin' Blends. And Memento ink is really good for the Stampin' Blends because it doesn't bleed. Stays on with the alcohol markers, tends to bleed, so you want to make sure I get this really good so that way you don't have any undrawn lines in our stamp. So I'm just gonna push. I'm putting a little pressure on it. I'm not pushing super hard, just a little bit of pressure to make sure everything lines up. And you know what? I don't like how that's not connected, so I'm going to flip that over. We're going to try this one more time. I might need to re-ink my Memento. That could be what the problem is. We're just going to try that one more time, making sure I get everything good and inked up. All right. Try this now. I can already tell you it's not good and inked up because I'm looking at it. Try that. And straight down, pushing a little bit, and straight up, much better. Set my stamp aside. And I'm going to be using a couple of different Stampin' Blends here. I'm going to be using the Bubble Bath Light and Dark, Crumb Cake Light and Dark, and this one comes from the Natural Tones Stampin' Blends collection. It says on mine, SU 200. I'll put on the screen here which pack that's from because I can never remember since mine aren't labeled which pack it comes from. I can never remember. So I have it written down somewhere. I'll put it on the screen so you can see. We're going to start with this one. And I'm just going to outline the little deer first. And I like to start in the back. Oh, and I already went out of the line. But you know what? It's okay because it is a handmade card. So any little oopsies or mistakes you think you're making are absolutely fine. I'm going to go around the face just because I want that to dry first. I want that to be the lightest part of our little deer. And then where the shadow comes in, I'm going to kind of leave that open. I'm also going to not color in the belly or the chest. We're going to use our crumb cake for that one. Then I'm just going to do the same thing on the mama deer or the dad deer because it has antlers. And again, going kind of lightly around the face. There is no right or wrong way to color. I found it's just whatever you think looks good. And if you're not super confident in how you want to color something, you could always practice. I like using this grid paper here or even scraps of printer paper to just practice on when I'm not sure how I want to color something. And maybe I don't want to use my good Stampin' Up cardstock just to practice. So I'll use the grid paper or, like I said, copy paper, sometimes like old bank statements. Stamp on the back of those. Paper is paper, right? Just coloring in the parent deer. I don't know if it's a mama or a daddy deer, but antlers are usually on the guys. But and again, we're going to leave that belly and the chest blank there. And I'm going to take the dark crumb cake and go in on that. And then I like to go in with the light and just go over any spots I may have missed. And then I'm going to leave both tails just white. And then we're just going to be using the dark bubble bath here for the ears. And then I'm going to go back in with the dark crumb cake. I'm going to use the pen tip side this time. And I just kind of went around the ear a little bit. And just blend that down. And that is it for our deer. Make sure when you put your caps back on, they are clicking, otherwise they may dry out. So set these aside, and then this die cuts that out perfectly. And then I have a piece of basic white for our card here. All the measurements and everything are on my blog. If you click the link in the description of this video, it will take you right to this blog post. And we're going to die cut that circle right from that piece. And take a piece of garden green and die cut our leaves. And then I want to take a piece of real red, and I have somewhere in my life an adhesive sheet. I'm not sure quite where, oh, there it is. I have an adhesive sheet. I just have a scrap here, and I'm going to take my paper snips, and I'm just going to cut a little bit of that off. So that way, when we cut our holly berries out, they're like a sticker, and I can just stick them down, and I don't have to worry about adhesive. So I'm just going to put those right there. And when I cut my holly berries out, I'm going to go that way, run it through, and they'll be like a sticker. So now I'm going to do a little bit of die cutting, and while I'm at it, I'm also going to take a piece of garden green and run it through with the Forever Plaid 3D embossing folder. This embossing folder is massive, so you do need the standard Stampin' Cut emboss machine for this folder because it's so large. So I'm going to die cut and do some Stampin' Cut and emboss machine work, and then I will show you how to put this card together. So now that everything is die cut, I'm going to show you how to put it all together, as well as give you a couple of tips and tricks. So I have our deer here, and then our garden green plaid piece. This is still together because I just want to show you how it comes apart. So you're going to carefully pop out the die. And so you may have some pieces stuck in there. You might just have to poke them with, take your pick tool or a paper piercer. I'm going to set that aside. I'll do that later. Sometimes these like to stick there. But then this piece comes right out, and you might have to wiggle it a little, finagle it. Don't pull too hard because you want this greenery, these little sprig pieces, to be intact. So that comes out like that. And then again, you have some pieces in here that we're just going to have to pop out. So all our pieces are now popped out. I have our garden green holly leaves, as well as our real red berries right there. I'm going to set these dies aside. And now we can assemble our card. Oh, wait, before we do that, we need to stamp our sentiment before you do anything else, because on this card, I kind of messed up a little bit, and I put it all together, and I realized I hadn't stamped the sentiment. So I have the Merry Christmas stamp from the Reindeer Fun stamp set. Just inking that up in real red. We're going to stamp it close to the center as possible. And that's it for stamping. You can stamp on the inside of your card if you'd like. I'm now going to use some liquid glue. We're going to flip this guy over. I'm just going to use a little bit of liquid glue around the edges. The garden green piece, I didn't really measure how long it was, but it is less than, just a little bit less than 3 3/4 inch wide, because that's how big this basic white piece is. I'm just putting a little bit on the sides here. You don't want to do too much liquid glue because you don't want it spilling out of the sides. Make sure it might be a little bit bigger than I want. That's okay. Because once we put it on, I can just take my paper snips. You can also use your paper trimmer. And I'm just going to cut. So there is our background piece. And then we can put that onto our piece of pecan pie. I want my Stampin' Seal. There it is. And then we're going to layer on our holly. So I did use an adhesive sheet on the berries. I'm just going to peel that off. It makes it like a sticker. I'm just going to stick that right in the center. And then I put one of the cherry cobbler adhesive backed berries right in the middle. I just thought that was super cute. So then what I'm going to do is flip that over and take a mini Stampin' Dimensional right in the center. And I like to fold these up just a little bit. It gives it more of like a 3D kind of a look. Peel the backing off of that. And I just stuck it at the top there. Put a little more seal. And then grab our card base. Oops, be careful of those spriggy pieces. I'm going to burnish that with my bone folder. And then grab a piece of basic white for the inside. Again, you can definitely decorate this if you'd like. I didn't for this card. Open that up. And then we're going to add our deer. Here's my dimensionals. Use a couple of regular ones. I think I am going to use a mini on the little baby. Flip that over. It's kind of in the center. And then I took 2 more of the cherry cobbler berries and just kind of scattered them around. Maybe put one up there. And that is our card. So I hope you enjoyed this card today. It is super easy to create and put together. Be sure to check out the blog post where I also link all of the supplies. You can also find a full supply list in the description of this video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel to see more card making tips, tricks, and inspiration from me. I want to thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.